Huh. Looks like the Excel guys make some other programs. Welcome back to the class, everyone. In today's video, we are going to be doing an in-depth review of the Ahsoka Rush Lightspeed bundles. And I do want to make the disclaimer before we really get into any of the numbers that I am not mad, angry, or even upset at all about these packs. CG can launch whatever pack they want at whatever price point they desire. If the pack is truly bad from a relative standpoint, then the simple solution is to just not buy it. However, the reason why we are making this video is because I have consistently in the past referred to Lightspeed bundles as the best overall relative in-game value that you can buy. And well, when it comes to these two new packs, it doesn't exactly seem to be the case. By the way, if you're wondering what these packs look like because they're not currently live in game, you can see on the bottom of this slide, this is more or less what you will get. $65 for one Night Trooper or Captain Enoch at Relic 1. They're not currently available, if you're also wondering that. I believe they come out on December 16th, so a week or two from now you should start seeing them. Now, overall, we're going to be talking about why these Ahsoka Rush Lightspeed bundles aren't great. And we have our agenda here, and we have 5 points that I really want to walk through, and I believe they all are important, and they will also kind of flow into each other. The first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that this is the highest price point we have ever seen for a Lightspeed bundle. And not just in comparison to like the raw actual numbers. For example, the BB-8 pack was $10. The Starkiller pack was $50. This is $65. That's more. But when we boil down every single Lightspeed bundle that has come into game thus far, they average out to about $21.18. The reason why I feel like that's worth mentioning is because at like the $20 and then $10 and the $15 price point, you can really rationalize these as all being microtransactions. Whether that's good or bad is kind of a different story, but they're microtransactions. You're not really buying a full game, so to speak. You're just buying $10 to increase your overall viability in your roster and speed you up a little bit in game. When we look at packs that start to cost $65, I mean, you can be buying entire games, sometimes entire games with DLCs with just that money alone to be able to get this one character. So it really, again, kind of breaches out from the typical definition of a Lightspeed bundle that you're just not getting a whole lot more value than what you would normally be paying for. Which kind of brings us to our next topic, and that's the fact that it's just overall bad value. And the main reason that I'm drawing this conclusion here is because Night Trooper and Captain Enoch are only coming in at Relic 1, that means you don't get any free signal data like you did in literally every single one of the other Lightspeed bundles. You'll see here that I have pulled up this Lightspeed bundle crystal comparison. For any of you that have watched any of those videos in the past, you'll understand what we're doing here. We're trying to pull out the two biggest bottlenecks for characters being Kyrotech and signal data. And because we don't have any signal data to factor in, the overall raw crystal value for the pack is just not that high. It's about $71, assuming you are actually going and paying for hundreds of dollars of crystals and then turn around and using those crystals to buy Kyrotech. Meaning that we're pretty much just barely breaking even with the overall price point. Now, one of the big pieces of pushback that I've kind of seen out there to the community, why this really shouldn't matter, is because we've never gotten a Lightspeed bundle for a character this new. And that's true. Night Trooper and Captain Enoch aren't even accelerated. In fact, Captain Enoch actually only went to free-to-play farming 2 months ago. But I would combat that with the fact that it's just not soon enough. And you'll see here our chart for crystal value comparison, what it costs to get a character all the way up to 7 stars and then eventually to Relic 1 if you are just using straight crystals for them. If you want them day one, it costs you 44,000 crystals to buy to be able to get them through the gamble packs. If you want to do the new special marquee that launched about a year ago, it takes 26,000. Shipments 22. Double refreshing a character on a node takes 4,000 crystals. The reason why this is all really important is because Enoch will have come out 2 months prior to the date of these packs and Night Trooper much before. You could have easily gotten these characters for what is essentially 4,000 crystals or less because of things like double drops, purely by refreshing the node, because they are free to play farmable. They're on nodes. They've been on nodes. So the reality is you didn't have to necessarily go out and buy them through this pack. There were other methods that were cheaper that are already available. And even if you were to do that right now, let's say you didn't do that. Let's say you don't have these characters left. Let's say you were focusing on something that was probably more important to you at the time. Even if you were to do that now, it would still be cheaper. And I guess you wouldn't immediately have the finished product, but I'm not necessarily sure you need the finished project because of the following point, and that is these characters are not the true bottleneck for both Galactic Legend Ahsoka Tano or even the Assault Battle, arguably slightly for the Assault Battle. What I mean by that is getting these characters today or in 2 weeks or whatever, just by shelling out $60 for each of them, really doesn't get you anywhere tangible. And the reason why I say that is because they are going to be Galactic Legend Ahsoka Tano requirements. We know that. That's already been confirmed a long time ago. The issue that I have with that is we already have 3 marquee characters that are newer than these. So it doesn't matter if you buy the character to get it in 2 weeks. You're still going to have to wait or pay to get the other characters when they eventually come out. So there's already a cheaper method that we talked about, meaning that you can just, farm them on the node, refresh the energy node to be able to get both of them. If you haven't been farming them at all already, you will get them in about 2 months' time doing that. And you have that 2 months' time because Huyang and General Syndulla and Sabine, none of those characters are even free-to-play farmable. I mean, I think General Syndulla came out like 2 days ago, meaning you have quite a bit of time to catch up on these characters. They're not really going to be making a difference. And the reason why I do bring up the Assault Battle as well, and this one is a little, I guess, more excusable, especially in the case of Captain Enoch, but the problem is, you're not getting, at least from what we've seen so far, I don't believe we're getting Dark Trooper, Death Trooper, Peridia from these packs, meaning you still have to go after one of them. And the reason why that's a problem is because the time barrier on him is essentially the same because he's also a hard node farm. It would be a little bit different if he was a Cantina farm and you could farm him significantly faster than Enoch and Night Trooper even without having to refresh, but you really can't. I mean, he came out before Enoch, so I guess that's something. But for the most part, you're really just not getting that far ahead because there's so much else holding you back, particularly from Galactic Legend Ahsoka Tano, but also overall the Assault Battle. So while, again, they didn't necessarily come out soon enough, and by the way, I don't think they should have come out soon enough. I believe that really messes with their CG's overall structure. But at the same time, you don't need them right now. And the last point that I want to bring up is there's a more economy-friendly way to farm them, and you don't need them right now. The only other reason that I would say, hey, this might be a good idea to buy is if they were just a very universal character. And the comparison we're going to use for this is Krex. Krex, if he were to just magically appear in the store right now for $60, there are some people out there that actually might consider buying him because the amount of use you get out of him is instant. He's obviously the best character on the Phoenix team right now, so he's the one who unlocks any potential for them outside the very beginning of the game. He's actually the best fifth for a Leia team, just because he has the Rebel tag, so he doesn't break into the synergy, and then he has a really good AoE. He's actually really good in a Saw team because of the Rebel Fighter mechanics. He's really good in a Mon Mothma team as well for the same reason with the Rebel Fighter mechanics. And then, very awkwardly, he's even the best fifth currently on defense for the 501st because it completely shuts down CLS because the Wookiees, believe it or not, really don't like irresistible days. So again, if he were to come out and you were to spend $60 on him, you immediately have him in some home, whether it be from an old team, a more endgame aim team, a team that currently has a Datacron, a team that you built up because you were working on different Galactic Legends, or another one you got because there was a General Skywalker Lightspeed bundle. So you have all these avenues to use this character in. It's not really true with Night Trooper and Captain Enoch. Captain Enoch even less so, but Night Trooper is really, really good in 2 squads currently. Number 1 being Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, as well as Great Mothers. And the reason why I want to bring this up is because if you weren't farming Night Trooper ever since he came out, I'm probably going to imagine you don't have Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, or maybe you just don't have Imperial Remnant built up in general. And Great Mothers is also a brand new character. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. If you were already going after brand new characters consistently, like Great Mothers, like Night Trooper, then you probably don't need the pack. And if you want to buy the pack, you're not really even gonna have a team for him. And we've already covered the fact that he's not really going to solve the bottleneck issue for Ahsoka Tano, and it's overall just not really a great deal. So I don't know. It just, from a Lightspeed bundle perspective, it seems really, really bad. I do want to go back to the point a little bit that we talked about at the beginning of the video. Just because it's a bad Lightspeed bundle doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad pack. If you are someone out there who spends quite a bit of money on the game, and power to you if you do, and you typically go after things like this, which I guess I'm not sure why you would need to go after Night Trooper if you did things like that. But you're just consistently buying packs. You're just kind of going after things that are constantly out there. It's not the worst thing. It's definitely not the worst thing that you can buy as far as overall in-game economy goes. We are specifically picking on it because it's been labeled, at least in the datamons, a Lightspeed bundle. So that is going to be our in-depth review of the pack. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And as always, stay awesome.